Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another tournament video. We're here at Abacoa Golf Club in the beautiful Jupiter, Florida. Probably the best place on earth, playing on the minor league golf tour, which is probably the best mini tour in all of Florida. Probably going to have 60 to 80 guys today playing for $1,500 first place check. Plus they do bonus pools and skins. I'm in the bonus pool, not in skins. But let's go get the warm-up going. Feeling good about my game, getting ready for Q School next week. So I'll see you guys out there. We're back for another tournament video. We're here at Abacoa Golf Club on the minor league golf tour, starting on hole 10, par 5, and bang, we are off. Strike the tee shot right down the right side. Kind of a tricky hole to start on. Water left off the tee. The fairway's pretty big, but we got 7 wood in here from 238, sending it on the first hole over the water. This was absolutely striped. Great start. All right, we got about 15 feet here for eagles, straight up the hill. I read this to be pretty straight, but as you can see here, just not my best effort. Broke pretty hard to the right, didn't see that. But it's an easy tap and birdie heading to hole 11, our second hole of the day. All right, hole 11 here is a semi-drivable par 4, but I've never gone for it and I probably never will. Just 5 wood off the tee here, playing for position, and another good shot. All right, I've got 73 yards here. This is just a 60-degree, 10 o'clock swing, and I kind of pulled this and just hit it a little bit too hard, but it did spin back down off the hill a little bit, and we've got about 12 feet for birdie. All right, hit this drive just up the right center of the fairway, and there's kind of a slope that feeds everything right. So I ended up down here on the cart path, taking a little bit of relief, and we've got 145 yards here. This is just a smooth punch cut 9-iron, trying to get it around those trees and up to the right hole location. All right, I've got about an 8-footer for birdie here to go 2 under through 3. It's just a right edge putt, keep the speed up, and bang. 2 under through 3, off to a great start in this mini tour event. All right, we're gonna take a quick break from the golf to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Southern Rice Performance. Southern Rice Performance is built on giving back and helping the next generation of athletes. Your body is the engine, and Southern Rice Performance helps you optimize your strength and endurance for all different kinds of sports. Whether you're a golfer, motocross, swimmer, skier, runner, whatever it is, Southern Rice can help you with online programs and in-person coaching. So go click the QR code right here, check out Southern Rice Performance, and I'll see you guys back on the golf course. All right, we're here on hole 13, par 3, about 160 yards, over the water, a little bit downhill. This is a 9-iron. Pin is up on a shelf on the right side of the green. And this club I needed to hit absolutely perfect to get to the top of the ridge. And you can see it lands on top and it spins back down the hill. It was a really good shot. I just knew that that was going to be the miss. Spun down the hill and I got 30 feet, but I hit a club knowing that that was a miss. Sorry. All right, we've got about 35 feet up and over this ridge, up the hill, and this putt was so slow. As soon as I hit it, I was like, oh my gosh, that might not get to the top of the ridge, and it barely did. Not a good putt here, but the good news is we've got about 10 feet straight up the hill for par. Very straight putt, and you can see we put a great stroke on this right in the middle. That would have been a pretty bad 3 putt, but we get out of there with par, head into the 14th hole. We striped this tee shot on 14. It's a pretty short hole. It's only about 400 yards, and if you hit a good drive, you can have a wedge in, and that's exactly what we have. We have 117 yards here, and I was kind of in between clubs. I was in between punching a 50 degree and hitting a full sand wedge. I ended up hitting the full sand wedge, hit it right over the flag, but with hitting more of a full shot, it had too much spin, and it spun left and off the green onto the fringe. Right in between clubs, hit the harder one, and got a little bit more spin on it. But make a putt for birdie. Now we've got about 15 feet for birdie here, breaking from left to right, and I hit a great putt here. I could not believe that this putt did not go right. You can see me just kind of in disbelief there that that did not continue to break and catch the left side of the hole. But tap in par, still 2 under through 5 holes. All right, hole 15 here. This is a 7-iron from 176 up the hill. And this, I just didn't hit it hard enough. It was a little bit into the wind, and I needed to hit this pretty full but flighted, and I kind of just came up and out of it and didn't hit it full, about 30 feet short. That was a great putt. I for sure thought I made that when it was about 5 feet out, but we've got about a 3-foot downhill comebacker here. The greens here at Abacoa are so pure, and making putts like this just seems easier at a course like this because the greens are pretty flat and they're super pure. So good par heading to the 16th hole, which is our 7th hole of the day. All right, the tee shot here on 16 is a little bit tricky. There's a pond down the left. If you pull it, your ball's gonna roll down the hill and into the pond. So you want to keep it up the right side here, which is exactly what I did. Absolutely striped to the right center of the fairway. Now we've got 93 yards here to a back pin. This is a sucker pin. You do not want to go long, but it's a wedge. I'm very confident in my clock system, and we went ahead and hit a great shot here just behind the hole, which actually leaves us a very makeable putt for birdie. Bang. 3 under through 8. Great start. You can see I'm pretty hyped about making that putt. It was a big slider. Now hole 17 here is a tricky par 5. There's water down the right and there's miles to hit it left. Now being into the wind today, I knew that it was probably going to be a 3-shot hole. So I went ahead and just hit my little stinger cut down the left side and just accepted playing this as a 3-shotter. Now it got a little bit unlucky to catch, this side hill lie on the bunker, but it's still a layup. It's just a 5-iron. Not a big deal. Hit a really good shot here. Now we have 73 yards, another 10 o'clock, 60 degree. And I hit this, and I thought it was about perfect, but I knew I just didn't hit it hard enough. You can see it spins, comes up about 15 feet short, and you can see I'm just not super happy with that swing. It was a pretty simple wedge shot, and I just didn't fully commit to my number, which leaves us about 15 feet here, breaking from left to right. Now, hole 18 here is probably the hardest hole on the golf course. 450-yard par 4. There's OB left, water right. What do? We step up, hit our little patent cut right down the middle, which leaves us a pitching wedge into this green. That almost went in. What a shot. Pitching wedge from 150 yards, a little bit downwind and off the right. We draw it in there, and that was so close. I mean, you can hear me. I was just like, how did that not go in? It's caught the right edge of the hole, ended up just on the left side, but tap in birdie. 32 on the front nine, 4 under par, heading to a little bit more difficult front nine. I hit this a little bit off the heel, spun it out to the right into this bunker. Now we've got 155 yards. This is a cut 8-iron to a right pin into the wind, and this was flushed. As soon as I hit this, I knew that it was the perfect number, and you can see it comes down here about 5 feet right of the hole. It actually landed about 2 feet and spun right. It was an insanely good shot. And you can see we've got this about 5 foot little slider to move to 5 under through 10. Bang. 5 under through 10, absolutely rolling in this round. Now, hole number 2 is a par 5 converted to a par 4. This is our 11th hole of the day, and this fairway, I don't know that I've ever hit this fairway. It's so easy to bail way right because there's a ton of room over there, but today, on this day, I striped it right down the middle. You can see, I checked the leaderboard to see where I was at. I was currently tied for the lead at this point, I believe, and plenty of opportunities ahead. Just need to keep my head down and keep hitting good shots. This was actually a gap wedge from 155 yards straight downwind. I just didn't feel comfortable with the pitching wedge, decided to hit the gap wedge, and I actually hit it long. I for sure thought it was going to be the perfect club, and it actually was a little bit too much hitting it full. But it leaves us about 40 feet down the hill. On a hole like this, it's a very difficult hole. I would have taken this putt for birdie if on the tee if he would have offered it to me. So just trying to lag it down there, get out of there with 4, and hit a pretty good lag putt, left it about 2 feet short, but it's going to be an easy tap-in par on a very difficult hole. All right, hole number 3 here is a tricky par 4. There's water through the fairway and there's water left that's about 260 to carry. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit pretty much a slice driver off that left water because it's not going to get to the water. That's about 310 yards through the fairway, and it's also going to carry that water on the left. And I executed this absolutely perfect. Leaves us 105 yards from the middle of the fairway. And as you can see, some pictures are being taken of me. Scott is around, which is always a good thing because if he's around taking pictures of you, that means you are in the lead. So I know exactly where I'm at. This is a 60 degree from 105 yards. Just pulled it. I mean, just straight up pulled it. Was hoping that it would spin and come down the slope a little bit, but it did not. And it's going to leave us a pretty slippery 15-footer for birdie. This putt was so good. I for sure thought that it was going to catch the left edge and go in, but it was a great putt, just missed it on the left side, and we're still 5 under through 12 holes. We've got 6 holes to go try and win this golf tournament. Now this is a 7-iron from 213 yards straight downwind to a back right hole location, and this was right at it, absolutely flushed. Ends up about 25 feet, just short, but an absolutely perfect shot right where you want to putt from to this pin. Bang. Let's go. 6 under through 13. That was a great putt. It had a ton of break from left to right from about 20 to 25 feet. And we hearted it right in the middle, little fist pump. You can see, I know exactly what that means. Gets us into the solo lead at this point. And hole number 5 here is a pretty easy par 4 if you can hit a good tee shot. All right, this wedge shot, I had about 95 yards straight downwind to a back pin, and I just didn't hit it as hard as I needed to. Leaves us about 15 feet for birdie. And I hit a great putt here. I didn't see it breaking that much to the right. You can see a little frustrated, just 100% thought I made that putt, but easy tap in par, still 6 under par. All right, our 15th hole is number 6, which is a 590-yard par 5, and today it is downwind. It usually is into the wind, so this wind is a little bit different for this golf course from what I've played, but we absolutely striped our tee shot, and we get down here and we just have a little bit of a mud ball. It's not a ton, but it's enough to affect the ball, and it's just too much to be able to send a 3-wood from 280. So I just decided I'm going to lay up with a 6-iron and trust my wedge game. I hit the 6-iron right down the middle, exactly where I was looking, have 100 yards out, and we get up there, and in a divot, front of a divot, just a little tricky to get to the back of the ball, trying to get super steep on this, and heavy. Have the mud ball, be smart, lay it up in the fairway, and get screwed being in the divot. Golf. So now we're down here in the trench where I didn't want to hit my second shot, and I ended up hitting my third shot. Not a good spot to be, and didn't have a great lie. I tried to go for the high spinner and just laid the sod over it. And similar situation on this next one, but I decided I'm just going to hit down on it more, accept the fact that it's going to come out lower with a lot of spin, and I hit a really good shot here to about 10 feet. We've got that putt for bogey to go back to 5 under par. And this putt, you can see how severe this green is. That thing broke 2 feet to the right, and that's a double. Drops us out of the lead by 2 shots, and yeah, sucks. So hole number 7 here, our 16th hole of the day. Pretty tricky par 4. If you can hit a good tee shot, it's definitely a birdie hole. I hit 3-wood off the tee here, and I hit it very spinny out to the right. It barely carried the water, but it does leave us a wedge from the rough. We got 125 yards here. I was hoping I had a little bit of a flyer here, hit a sand wedge, and it did not fly. And I also blocked it 30 feet to the right. Not our best, but it does leave us about a 40-footer for birdie from the fringe. And this putt was straight up the hill into the grain, and I just did not give it enough speed. I know we need to make 2 birdies coming in to have a chance, so this putt right here is the entire tournament, and bang, right in the middle. So now I need to go birdie birdie to have a chance in a playoff. Now hole number 8 here, our 17th hole, is 192 yards straight into the wind. I mean, straight into the wind. This is a 5-iron. Flushed right over the top of the flagstick. I could not believe that this was long. There was so much wind up there, and I just hit it so perfect. But it leaves us this about 35-foot downhill putt to keep ourselves in this tournament and have a chance of winning. And it's a great stroke. Right in the middle. It was absolutely steaming, but dead center. Leaves us a chance to birdie the 18th hole to get into a playoff to try and win this golf tournament. Now the 9th hole here, which is our 18th, is a pretty tricky par 4. There's out of bounds left, and then if you miss it right, you can get blocked out by these trees. You can see I hit this drive just down the right center of the fairway, and even though I'm like 2 feet into the rough, I'm blocked out by this tree here on the right. So I've got to hit like a pretty low cut with an 8-iron from about 155 yards. And I just, with the water left, I kind of gave it a little bit too much cut, and it spun up into the wind and came up about 30 feet short. But we do have a putt to force a playoff. Let's go make that and hope for a playoff. All right, we've got this putt to force a playoff from about 35 feet up the hill, up over this big ridge. And the one thing I was telling myself at this moment is like, just give it a chance, don't leave it short. And what do? We leave it like 8 feet short. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, it was so slow up the hill. For greens that are very quick, it was a very slow putt. And we've got this 8-footer to shoot 66, 5 under, still cash a very nice check for the day, and another solid tournament round. All right, solid day, 66, 5 under. Played really well. I mean, I made 7 birdies, but the double was kind of unfortunate pretty late in the round. But, you know, I made a good, educated decision to lay up and kind of got screwed. So that's just golf, and Wish I would have played out to the left and tried to like blade it almost, but I'm just not gonna do that. So yeah, good day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.